welcome to our show. I'm Marilyn Dayton, and this is From This Corner TV. And I wanted to remind you the reason we're here is not just to entertain you, but to talk about topics which both interest you and educate you. So tonight we're going to be talking about something that's interesting, educational, and entertaining that you do all the time, okay? And so get out your pen, your paper, like I always say, because you're going to want to write some things down. Now, Bob Dylan, we all know who he is. He said, "Take care of your memories, for you cannot relive them." So what we're going to be talking about today with our guests is the power of capturing moments and memories. And how are we going to do that? We're going to be talking with Robin Lensi, who is a photographer, landscape and garden photographer, wonderful one, and you will see, whose passion shows in her work, capturing the moments in nature and in landscape design. And also with us is Don Piccini, a video producer, who helps tell a story by capturing life in motion. Now remember, I told you that this is something you guys do all the time. You do it with your smartphone. I usually have mine right here. You say, oh, I see this, boom, I want to take it, then you share it on Facebook for the whole world to see. And they can share your memories with you. And then you've got it yourself for whenever you want to look at it. I love videos. I'm a camera because I don't have a video camera because I'm not really good at that. But that may change after this show. So I like to take videos of, like, my little guy. He's a drummer, and I've got a great video of him drumming in a song 2 years ago. But anyway, okay, enough about that. So we have Robin and Dom with us. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is so exciting. You're going to be teaching me a lot, okay? You're going to be teaching our viewers a lot.
We're going to try.
We're going to try.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to start with you, Robin. People like to know the background story. How did you get to where you are today, and why? So, Robin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
The short or the long version?
The short, because we got a lot of other things to talk about. Short but important.
Well, I have been an award-winning sales professional for a very long time and have a very extensive background in both interior and garden design. And I really have found that my true passion is photographing gardens and landscape design for architects, designers who need to promote themselves and their businesses. And Dom and I come from sort of similar backgrounds in that my impetus to start really getting into photography was the death of my parents. So, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Something good coming out of something very sad and painful.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And as a friend of ours said recently, what was it you said? Memories come from pain, or is that what you said? Okay. Well done, Marilyn.
Well, I think you don't realize the impact that your life has on other people, and that's often unknown. And I think through our memories and how we're sharing those stories is how we know people from past generations.
And you know, you're absolutely right, because a lot of people are getting into genealogy today, like I have gotten into for the last 30 years or so. And we go all the way back to Eric the Red. Woohoo! Anyway, which is not really a good thing. He was a bad guy. But the thing is, there's so many and I've been around a long time, but there's so many of my relatives that I adored that I have lost, and I wish I had more than a picture, you know?
Yeah, and as we were talking earlier, I'm sure all your viewers are familiar with the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Absolutely.
And that's really because the pictures evoke the words that bridge that gap between generations. They start the stories. So when you don't have photographs to show people in your family or your children or your great-grandchildren, there's no way to start that story because now it's only your memory. And if you're not there to share that memory, who's sharing that memory if you don't have the photo to start the story?
So the memory dies.
The memory dies with you.
Yeah. I wish that before my mother passed away, she and I spent a huge amount of time together for 5 years. We got to know each other as people, which is really a good thing.
Absolutely.
Because we were bad. But anyway, we got to be friends and admirers of one another, and I got to hear her stories. But you know, they're here.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where they are, unless, well, I'll have to write them down on my blog, because some of them are really interesting.
And that's how my blog, The Power of Capturing Moments and Memories, came to be, because when my mother passed away after a rather brief but abrupt illness with lymphoma, I realized when I started going back through photographs that I had a lot of pictures of my mother, but I didn't have a lot of pictures of my mother and me in the same picture. And that was heartbreaking. And by the time, you know, at the end of her life when she was in the hospital, yes, we were taking pictures, but most of us don't want to remember loved ones at the very last moments of their life. You know, we want to remember their vitality and their absolute, you know, how they impacted us and how fortunate we were to have them as part of our lives. And so the fact that I didn't have enough pictures really was one of my major impetus to really pursue photography, because I had always said, oh, I'd love to be a photographer, I'd love to be a photographer, and I've always been a passionate gardener, so it was really, for me, really a natural coming together of, you know, purpose and, you know, passion.
And profession.
And profession.
Hey.
Absolutely.
And Dom, okay, so you got into photography because your parents passed away.
Yeah.
Dom, tell us your story.
Same thing for me. My father passed away, and I kind of locked myself in my office with all the pictures I had from growing up to present. And I went away at it for hours, and I created this tribute to my dad that we played at his services. And when people saw it, it evoked the memories, it evoked the good times, the bad times, the loss, and it really started the healing, you know. And as I've worked over the years, we'll take one step back, that after my father's funeral, the funeral directors came to me and said, you have to do this for us.
Oh, wow.
And they just loved it so much, and I've been doing it since 2004. And
Wow.
we've probably done 1,000 videos over that span.
So so this is one part of your work, though,
Yeah.
right? And so you can splice together, so to speak, photos and.
We've taken everything. On my dad's, when I did his, the Christmas Eve before, I actually had him singing "Hey Compadre" on tape, and I put that in there. I mean, I've had clients ask me, can I take the voice off the answering machine? And I take that. And I mean, I try to customize it so that it really helps the healing. And one of my clients, you hate to see a repeat client,
Yeah.
you know, because it's always something sad for
Sad.
that part. And
Yeah.
the first thing she said to me when I walked in her house was, I have to say thank you. And I said, why? I said, I come to your house all the time. And she goes, well, I have to thank you for bringing my husband here every week,
Yeah.
because she plays the video of her husband with all his favorite music, and it helps her get through.
Wow.
And I've done her husband, her brother, her sister, and it's,
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's,
It means that much to someone.
I think it does, yes.
That's what we're talking about. It's just so important. And the memories and the healing is just comes together so that she wants to experience that with everyone that she loves.
and
I
the
think,
funeral directors also brought me together. They wanted me to go to the wakes to see the healing start. Because normally when you walk into a funeral or a wake, it's very sad.
Yes.
But
yes.
now when you walk in, you've got the icebreaker, and you'll see, you know, the person in their good times.
Right.
So it evokes the laughter, it evokes
The
the
stories.
happiness, the stories
Yeah.
to start. And it takes a lot of the edge off for the family as they come in. And the first time I saw it, I said, holy crow, you're 100% right. And
It's almost like that person being there.
Yep.
Being
It
a
is,
part of it.
because you realize that really, even people who are no longer with us are always with us. And as long as we're still telling their stories and we're remembering them, they're always with us and they're always going to be part of our lives. Because, yesterday's behind us. It's gone. We can't get it back. And tomorrow is just a dream. So it's today. What can we do today to really create our memories and share, and always be sharing them with other people? Because when they're locked up, when you take a lot of photos and you never share them, you're not sharing those memories, and they're so precious to everybody. I think it's so important. How do we know who we are? When you look back and you see pictures of your grandparents, maybe that relative, maybe your uncle or your grandfather was a great piano player, and you have no idea where that talent came from. We know ourselves through our history. And I think that's why, websites that are, big on ancestry kind of thing have gotten so big, because people want to know who they are. But so even when they're gone, I agree with Dom completely. I find so often, because I was actually just at an event like that, it was actually a memorial for somebody who died a year ago, a very close relative of mine, and we had a video going of pictures with everybody in the room showing him what a wonderful life he had, and that you got to share his life. And I think that's what Dom captures so perfectly.
So it's a celebration of life.
Totally a celebration.
It's totally a
of
celebration.
life.
It's not, you don't have to wait till the end. You can celebrate your anniversary, your birthday, any milestone, and just get it documented. And it's just a great thing. And, I can have fun sometimes when parents are trying to embarrass their kids, and I get that fun. They give me carte blanche, go for it. And,
Hey, that's nice.
have some fun. But it's all all about the memory, and
Yeah.
I had one client. She was actually with Safe Place to Grieve, and her father had passed, and she'd asked me to do his tribute, and I said I'd be honored to. And he was a jazz pianist.
Oh, wow.
And he played all over New York, and I said, as I'm looking through the pictures with her, I said, do you have any of his music? And then the light went off in her head. And I ended up, that was the whole background music for the 20-minute video, was him playing.
Oh,
And
my God.
so it just, it was unbelievable.
I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm going, and maybe you are too. I'm sitting here saying, I wish I could hear my father's voice. I adored my father. He had the most wonderful voice, wonderful man. And he also was a singer and a guitar player. As you well know, he taught Elvis guitar, so he was a pretty good guitar player. And I have none of that.
Yep.
I have none of that. He had a band that was that did make some records for Capitol Records back when it was the old heavy black kind of
Vinyl?
Yeah. The old ones, though, the different speeds, 77 or whatever it was. I used to have that. My mother used to have one
78s
of them.
or something like that?
78s, yeah. And,
Okay, we're dating
boy,
ourselves.
That's a long time ago. I have no idea where that is, but I'm sure somewhere in a vault somewhere there's this music of his, but it wasn't just him, it was the band, and that's different. I just, he used to get out the guitar and play all the time, and I really wish that we'd been able to, he died young, so.
Technology
Too
was
early.
much different back then.
Yeah, very different. But these people that are listening and watching this are going, their emotions are starting to, their ears are starting to get red and hot as they're starting to get emotional about this. And this is a wonderful thing. What a tribute.
Yeah.
What a wonderful way to, like I wish my grandchildren knew my father.
Yeah.
Or could hear him, or know more about him. And, what a wonderful ability.
Well, it happens a lot, because once in a while I do get a chance to meet with a family. And sometimes there's some going back and forth, because a lot of times there's siblings, wives, and all sorts of things going on. And it's a tough time, because they've got 24 hours, 48 hours to get all these plans done. And they always say, well, you know what, and I don't think I want that. And I said, well, it's really not about you. It's about preserving the memories so that your grandchild, their grandchild,
Yes.
can be preserved for ages. And then it triggers a bell and it goes, okay,
Yeah.
you're right.
And the great
Makes
part
good
about that
sense.
is it kind of starts a ball rolling, because then it's, oh, remember when, remember when, remember when. And all of a sudden, you're laughing and smiling. And I think most of us, when we pass on, don't want people being sad at that point in time.
Oh, yeah.
We want them to
Yeah.
remember us as the fun, happy people we were. And by telling those stories, I think you're uplifting everybody, and it makes the grieving process a little bit easier to get through.
Well, it goes from the tears to the smile.
Yeah.
And you may still have tears, but at least you're smiling.
Some of them will be happy, though.
Right, some
Oh,
of them
yeah.
will be happy
Happy
tears,
tears.
right.
Happy tears. That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is got me thinking. And what I'm thinking about is what we were talking about before we started the show, which is these 3 big display things that my daughter did for me with all my pictures and stuff. And I can't put them away. I can't let anybody take those pictures off those boards, because I walk by it all the time. And it's right there in the middle of this family room. And nobody has said anything about when you're going to get rid of those, where are you going to put them? So what a wonderful idea to put those on film.
Yeah, Dom and I were talking. My father took slides. Back in the day,
Oh,
people took
yeah,
slides. They
yeah.
didn't do regular photography, and certainly not digital. And we are blessed to have digital photography. You can't mess up. Take a million pictures because you can't mess up, right? So my father must have thought the same thing about his slides. He took so many slides, and we're in the process of trying to weed out the pictures of my family in all the slides, and not just the memory pictures that they had. So we can, give them to Dom so we can get them preserved. Because old slides, old pictures, the film starts to deteriorate,
Yeah.
and then suddenly you don't have them. I mean, some of the pictures that I have from my parents on their honeymoon, you can barely see the picture. They're so faded. I mean, the film is just going
yeah.
so quickly, and so there really is, time is of the essence when it comes to preserving your memories. And like I said, but don't forget, create new ones every day. Always create new memories. And I find a lot of times what happens is, this happens for me, probably happens for you. I find I go to an event, people assume I'm taking the pictures. And so one, I'm never in the picture. And 2, if I'm like, okay, I'm off having a good time and I'm dancing or whatever, I'm at a wedding, I get caught up in what I'm doing and I'm not taking the pictures. And then nobody has the pictures.
Yep.
So no matter who it is, whether you have a camera or a smartphone, take pictures. So you have memories that you can then go back, and now you can share them with everybody in your family, not just your children or your grandchildren. Now your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, everybody, so that really all that wealth of your family information and your history is permeated through everybody that you know, and those stories now just really take on a life of their own, right?
Absolutely. I'm thinking of one of my favorite cousins ever growing up. He recently passed away, and we're all meeting and getting together where we all used to be, the southern tier of New York State and around the Finger Lakes. And so we're all going to get there for the internment and everything. And it's going to be kind of like a family reunion for a couple of days. And I'm really looking forward to that. But, it's going to be painful, but, we've got a lot of good stories about this guy, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. And there will be pictures. And when we did have a family reunion with the same branch of the family 2 years ago, one of my cousins, she said, okay, I'm going to take everybody's pictures and I'm going to put together a montage, which she did. And it was
nice.
great.
Oh, yeah,
it was
how
just
fabulous.
wonderful. And going to have to do that again.
Well, that's why they say pictures tell the story, and they don't just evoke the words, they evoke the emotions also of, wow, that was a fabulous time, or remember when, remember this. I mean, could you imagine if you didn't have pictures of, all the precious people in your life? Forget just even the events, but just the people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that'd be heartbreaking. How would your family memory even live on? Of course, my father had all girls, and he was heartbroken that he didn't have any boys to carry on the name. But so at least you got to continue the rest of the stories, even if you can't do the rest of it.
Well, that's true. That's true. Now, you'd mentioned slides too.
Yep.
So let's say you're working on a photo montage, and there's slides, so you can actually slip those in.
Well, you convert them to digital, don't you, Don?
Yeah, my machine will scan slides, and I color correct them, and for the ones that are losing color and losing image, I take the hair out of it and clean it. It's a little more work, but I mean, I've archived museums that have had slides, and because they're afraid they're going to lose them. It's once they're lost, they've lost it. So I get it on digital media format. I give them a couple of different varieties, because DVDs only last for a certain amount of time.
I was going to ask you that.
So then we go to the thumb drives, and sometimes you have to be very careful with that, because the board inside is good one day and no good the next.
That's right. No warning.
No, there's no warning.
I think that's what scares us all about digital media, actually.
Yeah. How long is it going to last?
I mean, some say 18 years, on the high-end DVDs, and clients will say, well, how come the DVD costs so much to burn? Because I don't go to Walmart or any of the box stores and buy a DVD for 25 cents. My DVDs cost $1, $1.10 a piece. And because I know they're going to work, I know they're going to have a good image, and retain it for as long as possible.
And who knows, in 5 or 10 years, technology will be different.
You won't have anything to play it on.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. That's depressing. No, what I was going to say is you can always take that DVD on a DVD player, which will still be able to be found, and put it on the new format, which may, just keep going up and up.
Well, that's what happened. I have people come to me with the 8mm, then the high 8, VHS, VHS-C, so the high 8, and I keep, do you have a machine? And I've got to go in the cabinet, and okay, do I still have one of these? And does it still work? And, okay, yep, I've got it, you're good to go. And so we can get their memories off their old matter.
The old, what about reel to reel? Do you have like an old Atari machine that you can?
There's actually a couple of ways to do the old reel to reels, because I did my brother-in-law's, he was in Vietnam, and I had a bunch of 8mm reel to reel that he had. And he said, Dom, I'd really like to get this done. So he had the projector, which was nice, but they also make a machine that you can run it through, and it automatically videotapes it. But we did it the easy way, where we went in a dark room in our house, and we played it on the wall. And I set my video camera up kind of parallel to the video projector playing on the wall, so that I still get the sound of the old reel-to-reel. So that's in there, and
for character.
Yeah, for character. So we were able to get it that way. I mean, it's okay, but we were still able to take it off, and he's got this great collection now of when he was in Hanoi, and
wow,
that's great, isn't it?
So
talk about memories.
Yeah.
Historical memories.
Yeah, well, he's in Florida right now, and he takes it to the American Legion. And
they
he'll
must
play
love
it,
that.
and I put all the music from the 60s and stuff in it, so the guys get up, they start marching around, and he said it's the
I thought you
highlight.
were going to say they start dancing.
They start marching around, and it really brings back and gets them started again.
Yeah. So let's move from personal to professional, because you've started doing that. You also help businesses with videos,
Yes.
right? And how do you do that, and in what way?
I help them get their videos so they can get their product, get themselves noticed on their websites. So a lot of small stuff. I do some corporate work, some corporate training videos so that people can see what they look like on film. And this is new for me because I'm usually on the other side of the camera. So kudos for you for getting me on this side.
Yay!
So say me too. I'm not usually up in the picture.
Now we have your memory. Okay.
But it helps them get their product, get themselves out there with their message. And I try to teach people, and if you look at the back of my card, it's got a bunch of suggestions and stuff that we can hit later, to look the best that you can when you put a product out. Because you'll get a lot of people that will, the iPhones are great, all the little digital medias, but if they take 1 second and just tweak it a little bit, the iPhone works great. I've done it. I've made a movie in my iPhone and put it on Facebook within 20 minutes of shooting it.
Which is kind of cool, you got to admit.
Yep, and people say, how the heck did you do that? I said, I did it with my iPhone. And, so the quality is there. You just have to take the extra second, make sure the light's right, make sure, everything is just about right. We're in the studio, have lights hitting us this way. You don't want them behind you, because that'll turn you dark and the people won't be able to see your image. And there's a lot of little things you can do to really make your easy videos done.
And we're going to talk about that in the second half of the show.
Absolutely.
But when I'm helping businesses with their image and their branding, I always tell them, okay, first of all, you need a new website, okay?
Or an updated current website, maybe?
Current website. It's been 10 years or whatever, and you've got to, you've got to put yourself out there in the current professional manner. And I always say you need videos, okay? People will look at a short video before they will read copy.
Yep.
Yes.
So
You use the imperative word, though, short.
Short.
You lose people's time, their attention span very quickly.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But you always give them, if there's more information, you can always give them a link to continue learning more.
Yep, correct.
But you kind of probably tell people the same thing, right?
Yep, we want it
In
short. I
business.
mean, we shoot for under 3 minutes. And then if there's other stuff that we have to do, then we make a longer video, but you need the lead lure to get them to this point. You don't want to put everything out here, and after a minute and a half, they're gone. And
Sort of like those quick marts that, make a cheap price for milk just to get you in the door.
Yep.
You want something short and sweet to really capture somebody's attention. So they'll stop long enough to actually look at your website and maybe get past the top version there.
Exactly, what we
And
call
scroll
above
down.
the fold.
Above the fold, right.
Yeah.
Right, the old newspaper kind of thing. Right,
Yeah,
how many
that's
people
where it
never
comes from.
actually flip the newspaper over to see what was on the bottom?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it
it's the
is.
same kind of screen.
Absolutely, it is.
And of course, the colors and all of that are very important. Like, for instance, you're doing a video, you want to make sure if their signature color is like this, you want to make sure that maybe it's in the background or it's somewhere, or they've got their logo or something to connect
For us,
with
it's
that
obviously
with
purple.
that brand. Yes, purple turbo. So here we are giving tips and techniques already, which we're going to do, of course, in the second half. And you know what? Actually, that might be a good spot for us to take a little break. I think. Let me do the addition. Yep, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to, you can get a little drink of water, which what we're going to do. Take a couple of deep breaths, okay? And then we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you then.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darts there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Hi, and welcome back to From This Corner TV as we're chatting away. And I want to remind you of something, okay? We're talking about memories today. And memories are not necessarily the key to the past, but to the future. That was written by Corrie ten Boom. And that's actually from Robin's blog. She's got some great quotes in there. But think about that for a second, okay? As a friend of ours recently said, pain is a catalyst. It can be a catalyst to action. For instance, we were talking with Dom about his celebration of life, his video montage that he does for families of people who have passed away. So the pain of missing them can be a catalyst to want to remember and want to have memories that they can look at every day, every week, every month, whenever they want to remember this person. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, and hopefully help them start to heal.
Yes.
Because none of us are going to pretend that it's not sad when we lose somebody. Obviously, it's very sad.
Yeah.
But I think when we have really fabulous memories that we can share, that we can talk to people about, that we can visually look at, I think it makes it just so much easier for us to really always feel them, whether it's, when you hear a song or you hear music that they wrote or you see something that they did, or my mother did art.
Something.
Yeah, something. The perfume or the cologne somebody wore. Something that just reminds you of them. I think it brings them back to you, and I think it just helps you
almost
move closer.
Every book that I have read, most movies that I've seen, there's something in there that connects to photography. A picture of someone, and they're talking to that picture, or they're showing that picture to somebody, and it's a part of the conversation. Or it can be a movie within a movie. In a movie, they're watching, someone that lost his father. He got out the home movies, and he's sitting there watching the home movies, and it's and the smile.
Yeah.
The smile appears with the
without
happy,
even realizing it. The smiles
absolutely.
appear.
And that emotional connection. This way, you can have that emotional connection to someone you've lost anytime you want.
Anytime you want.
Most definitely.
And it's not just we were talking about videos in business, which is very important. Very important, and it's becoming more and more important because you see the viral marketing that surrounds some really good, interesting videos out there. Whether it's a bunch of cats playing, or it's a short video of someone who has tips and techniques.
Yep.
That they it's.
Yeah, and I think, what do they say? It only takes, 7 seconds to make a first impression or something. So you get a very short time to capture your audience when you're, trying to promote your business, which is, what we were talking about earlier, that, if you have a website, you never update it. Well, if I'm looking to hire you, and I sort of keep going back to your website, and I say, well, gosh, this person hasn't changed, the pictures or the videos on this website for the last year, it says something to me about how you feel about your business, even if that's actually not true. So the way we come across to prospective clients is really important, which is why I am really, obviously, very passionate about professional photography to promote your business, and change that often. And who's your target audience, and what are you doing to stand out from your competition? what is going to get you noticed that somebody else isn't doing.
And you're doing that all the time on Facebook. You're posting it. I love your photos.
Thank you.
And I mean, they're just every single photo I've seen, and that's rare because I kind of critique photos because that's part of me and who I am and what I've done all my life. But your photos, I mean, you just have such skill and talent.
Thank you. I think that's my interior design background, and frankly, I've always been, I hate to use the word an artist, but I've been doing crafts and art and design and for my entire life. And, so when I go to take a picture, it sounds hokey, but I see it differently. And it's not just that I see it from the sales point of view, how is my prospective client going to see that? I'm really looking at it. I love nature. I love gardens. I love flowers. And I was very honored recently, the Garden Conservancy. I take pictures often for their Open Days program, and they called my work stunning. I was flabbergasted. And I'll tell you a very quick story. I belong to a lot of photography groups, and often people will say, "Oh, what were the settings you used to capture, that image?" And the other day, a gentleman said that to me on Facebook, and I was just joking around. I'm like, dumb luck. And then I gave him the settings, that I actually used. And he wrote me back a beautiful note, and he said, there was nothing dumb about that photograph, nothing. And it touched me tremendously, because when I looked at the picture after I got, back from taking pictures, I was like, wow, I love this picture. So even sometimes I'll just be, oh my God, I can't believe I actually captured that. That's so amazing.
And we're usually our own worst critic.
For sure.
And if you liked it, guess what? Everybody else is going to like it.
Yeah.
And some, it's more than just the technical aspect of it, the setting on the camera, the lighting and all of that. We're going to talk about tips and techniques in a minute. But it's the skill and the eye. If you've got that artistic eye, which you have, you were a crafty lady with a lot of things. I was a crafty lady too. I mean, because I like that term, crafty lady. But you're very artistically talented, and so are you. You need to have that talent to know, okay, we're going to put this picture here and this picture here, and then we're going to switch these because it'll make more sense. It'll, whatever the reason.
And, a very famous photographer, Ansel Adams, said, there are two people in every picture, the photographer and the viewer. And you don't take a photograph, you make it. I totally believe that. We all can look at the same landscape, the same people, the same gardening, flowers, whatever it is we're taking a picture of. And we all see it in a different way. And how we see it and interpret it is what makes it art.
Absolutely.
And then there are times that you can get a block, because I'll get a project started and I interview the clients and you start work on it and you just don't feel it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll just put it down and my wife will go, what are you doing? You got to get this job done. I said, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
So I either have to call the client back and have another discussion to try to pull me back into it. And then once you feel it, it's just boom. I've had interns work with me to try to teach them in the high schools and stuff of how to mix the things together, and you can tell the difference. They don't feel the music. They don't know the music of past. And I've got such a wide genre of music that I know that it makes it easy for when clients come to me, whether it be video or a tribute, it's just right there, and you can feel it. And you can really tell when you feel it because it all fits. It tells a story.
And what you bring up and mention is you're setting a scene, not just with visual. You've got the audio background. You've got maybe a voice-over that has to be a man or a woman with a certain sound in their voice and a certain inflection. It's kind of like making a commercial in the ad agency world, but more important in my mind, because you're dealing with human emotion.
Right.
you are looking to put together something with all of these pieces, which is not easy, people, okay? This is not easy. To take all of these elements and put it together and produce
tells
a
a story.
piece
Yeah.
that not just tells the story, but pulls the viewer in and makes them react the way you want them to react.
I have an aunt who I love dearly who said, stop and find what inspired you to take that photo in every picture that you actually do. So even when you're looking at your family pictures, stop and look at what was going on in that picture. Why did somebody take that picture? You know, whether you're laughing, you're crying, it's a birthday, it's a wedding, it's just you're sitting on your back porch. You know, we've all taken the picture of our toes while we're on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it is, but then remember that feeling that, wow, I was just sitting there relaxing and wow, I love that. So why did you take the picture? What inspired you? And I say that to my clients too. What inspired you to create that design? That's what we want to get across to your clients.
And it's not just what inspires them, but what inspires you. Like you're talking about, you weren't feeling it. So it has to inspire you. You've got to feel that and understand that.
Definitely. And I can control the whole mood, you know, not just with the memorials, but the celebrations of life for an anniversary or whatever. I can tell when they're going to cry and, you know, be laughing or just be smiling, looking at it. And I can set all that, set the whole tempo of what they're going to see, and which is huge. And
Which is amazing.
That is because you're controlling emotional reactions, people. I mean, that's not easy.
That's what we're
Once
saying.
again,
Photography evokes the emotions. That's what we're talking. That's exactly the whole thing that we're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's even beyond memories. It's
It
the
is.
moment right now where you're looking at it and you're feeling something, which is, you know, we all have our favorite TV shows, okay? And when somebody asks you why, you say, because I feel like I'm a part of it, or I care about what's going on here, or this is my thing, it's sci-fi, oh my God, this is me, you know?
For me, it's the voice, because I'm really a frustrated singer. I always wanted to be a singer. I'm not a singer. So I love the voice. It's like, you go do it.
Yeah, because they can't see them, so they can't tell that, you know, this is an 80-year-old woman who can still sing really good, you know? I'm not talking about you.
No, thank you. I was going to say, wow, I need a new hairdo or something.
Let's talk about the term video montage. What does that exactly mean?
it's a collection, a gathering. A montage is a bunch of photos, and I've added video and just added everything to drive it to be meaningful, you know, bring back the memories, you know, start people thinking, you know, the good times, the bad times. And the montage, my company used to be called Montage Pro when I initially started. And as my company evolved, I had to redesign it because it just wasn't montage. I was doing a lot of video and, you know, music videos and everything else, so we renamed it, and it's still a good portion of what we do every day. And the montages are great, and it's total creativity for the most part.
But today, isn't the word montage bigger now, because it can be static photos, it can also be moving videos pieced together? Because I'll see videos that are somebody talking, and then they'll show a scene and it'll move in and move out, and then CG's, you know, words, titles running across, and it's just so cool what we can do today.
Well, I call it ADD. I did a music video for CMT, and I'm used to setting a story. And this music video drove me crazy because we did the first proof, and my co-editor and I, we thought it came out really nice. It told the story that they wanted to with a song, and they said, no, we need more changes. And so I had to sit down with them, and we sat and watched MTV for a few hours, and and they loved the final product, and I just kind of sit there and go, that's like having ADD. You're switching channels, like, and you're just all over the place. But that's what the younger generation is in right now, because you've got the titles, you've got another scene change, just background changes, you know, effects, and just it's what they're into now. And
Yeah, it's like watching, don't some of those TVs now have, you know, where you can, a picture and a picture and a picture and a picture. You can be watching like 4 different screens
Oh,
at the same time.
absolutely.
You know.
Multitasking
Yeah.
TV. I can't relate.
Well, we've
I'm a
taken-
multitasker,
Yes.
but I can't
Me too.
do that many things.
Yeah, we've taken
You know.
multitasking to a new level in this generation,
Yeah.
I think, for sure.
And it's
Yeah.
where's it going to go from here? You know, I mean, when these young kids today, it's boom, boom, boom. Their lives move fast. They talk fast. They think fast. They can't write in cursive.
Nope.
They can't communicate one-on-one because it's all technology. I'm speaking generally, okay? It's kind of a trend that's
Instant
happening.
gratification.
Yeah.
Very
Everything
instant.
is instant gratification.
Very much so.
Even go back 20 years. We couldn't do half the stuff we do right now.
Oh, no, not at all.
I can't figure something out for a client. First thing I do, I go to YouTube.
Yeah,
Boop, boop, boop,
absolutely.
boop.
Yeah.
And boom, it's there.
Yeah.
And there's 5 different variations of it where, okay, now you look at, okay, this guy doesn't make sense, this one does.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll do this
I
one.
bought a piece of equipment and I couldn't figure out how to get it back in the package. I made my husband come over and I'm like, okay, let's watch this video. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
You know, to figure out how to.
I don't know how we did it. Even
Yeah.
coming down here. No map.
Right. GPS.
Okay, here I go.
Well, look at the death of the fax machine. I mean, that's like, you know.
Oh my goodness,
everything.
yeah.
But that's why, I mean, that's a perfect segue actually to digital photography is really an amazing technology when you stop and think about it. Take as many pictures as you need to because you can always go back and edit them. Which brings up, I think, a really good point. Dom and I have talked a lot about, you know, the power of smartphones, and they're great. We'd rather have people take pictures than not take pictures. But, you know, before you go post that picture on Facebook, maybe hit the edit button and, you know, lighten it so we can see the people's faces.
Lighten it, crop out some of the
Yeah,
crazy
lighten and
stuff.
crop, right. You know, like there's some really basic techniques for using smartphones. And take the picture with the smartphone if you don't have a regular camera. But when it comes to really important photography, really nothing, you know, professional photography really is important when those photographs mean everything to you. This is not the time at your wedding to throw you know, pictures on the cameras on the table and say, these are going to be the only pictures we're going to have for our wedding. That's not what
yeah,
you want.
yeah.
You know, you want to hire people like Dom to do these things.
Well, it's a
Absolutely.
reflection on your business too, and you know, you talked about people taking videos with their iPhones and stuff.
Yeah.
It's good to a certain point, but if you look at their video and then see one that comes out of a production house,
Oh, well,
it's
yeah.
night and day.
Right.
And you
Of
don't
course
have
it
to
is.
spend $10,000. You know, you can set the budget and they'll give you exactly what you want to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And I do the same thing. You know, you get some clients, they only have $1,000 to spend. Other clients have $10,000 to spend. Other clients have an open book and just keep writing checks.
Yeah.
And I keep, they change every 2 seconds. Okay, we'll keep going.
And you know, the thing is, though, you know, that instant gratification. That's why we're doing it with our smartphones.
That's why we have Instagram, right?
Yeah, and the cool thing is, it's even beyond digital. Everything is saved in the cloud now,
Yeah.
and you wonder, who is that up there? Where are those machines up there? And what if lightning strikes them? Because that's up there too, and they're all gone.
Right.
You know, you still wonder about that.
Well, hopefully I have a solution for that, and I brought an example of something that you can do. So tell me if you can actually see that.
There you go.
There you go.
Can you see that?
It's so pretty.
So not only do I sell my photography, but you can personalize any photograph. I have on here okay, we'll just pretend she's not going to see this. I have the date of my niece's wedding coming up. And she's a purple lover. She must know us both, Marilyn, obviously. She must have been tuning into us today. So you can take any photograph that I have, and I can personalize it. I have, like I said, this one, you know, is just an example for an upcoming wedding. This is a photograph that I took in Positano, Italy. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yeah.
And it actually was for my husband and my 15th anniversary. And again, just something simple to put on a picture that you can personalize it. Now you can give it as a birthday gift, you can give it as a wedding gift, you can give it as a shower gift, but it's something permanent. They're easy to hang. These particular ones are already ready to hang because they're already preset. But there's just so many wonderful things that you can do with photography and with pictures.
And taking that one photograph and putting some wording on it to remind you when it was, where it was, and hanging it on the wall. You know, so many people do their, trying to think what they call them, their dream boards or their, you know, that kind of thing.
Because on Pinterest.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
right.
And some of them do them and look at them every day at home.
Yeah.
I have one of those. And, you know, one is me looking slimmer. And I look at that a lot. But anyway, I've got some pictures on there of my wish list. You know, a picture of Hawaii, where I've been many times. And I want to go back. Of course I want to go back. And, you know, something like that is perfect.
Yeah.
When I went to Japan for my son's wedding, a picture from their wedding at a big Shinto temple.
Yeah. My father spent lots of time in Japan, actually.
It's an amazing country with amazing people.
And it's what is so great is that, you know, let's say you're looking for a gift for somebody, and you know, it's so much more when it's personalized than when you just go and you buy a lovely gift. And not that, you know, there aren't a lot of, you know, lovely things, but when you make it something truly from you, that person's never going to forget that you thought of them enough to actually do something just for them that was not for anybody else.
That you didn't just walk into a store and say, "Oh, that's pretty. I think they'll like that," and buy it and take it. And
or, "Oh, that's on my my list."
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
At, you know, whatever store they're
but
registered at.
you made an effort.
Yeah.
You made an effort to make them smile and be happy.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's so wonderful, this world we live in today, in a lot of ways. You know, beyond the fast instant gratification, there's still the memories, the moments.
Time to stop and smell the roses.
Yes.
Yep, most definitely.
And I'm sure you've got some beautiful pictures of roses.
I do, but you know, I do because we've all had our ups and downs, and so have I. And I have always found that, you know, when life throws you curveballs, you know, we all have our places that we go to find peace within ourselves. For me, it was often gardening. But I also learned not to ever take things for granted. So it sounds really silly when you say that, stop and smell the roses. But I can't tell you how often I actually stop and smell the roses. Or I see often people posting pictures of beautiful rainbows. And it makes me happy because it's like somebody stopped long enough to actually appreciate. We live in an amazing world. I mean,
and we're so lucky to be in it.
We're so lucky to be in it.
And we do. We have to. So, you know, if you don't have a camera, it's okay. It's all right. We forgive you. I don't have one. Take your smartphone. Make those memories. And edit them and crop them and share them with the rest of us.
Keep your fingers away from the lens.
Right.
Yes. Oh, yes, yes.
Like Dom said, lighting is crucial. It's probably the #1 thing in photography that people need to think about. You know, if you don't have to shoot with the sun right on top of somebody's face, so they have, you know, horrible shadows on their face. You know, early morning, late afternoon, those are great things. Take some time, focus your picture, really zoom in on people's faces. I mean, I always laugh because even my own husband does it. You know, like he'll take a picture of us and he'll be like back here, and I'll be like, "Could you come like a little closer so you could see my face?" You know, and zoom people's faces and be careful taking candid photographs. You know, most of us don't want to, you know, like be shown with, you know, food in our mouth or, you know, in the middle of a sentence or something like that. You know, change your perspective. Don't always be standing, you know, here. Maybe get down here, get up here. You know.
Is it, I know when people do videos and they do them with their laptops, isn't it better to have them have the laptop at eye level or a little bit above and be looking up rather than down here and go, you know?
So you have a double
It'll
chin?
make you look better. It'll make you look a whole lot better. And, you know, especially with the little cameras, those cameras are really tiny on your laptop, the webcams.
Yeah.
And, you know, get at the right distance. Make sure you got a little bit of light. You know, face the morning sun coming in the window instead of putting it straight on the table. But, you know, that'll make a whole big difference on how you look in it. And even you use those same cameras to Skype to do that. Help the people on the other end and have the lighting right. You know, but even, you know, it's, those cameras work. I've seen great videos. I've seen people take the things and stick them to their car windshield as they're driving.
Oh, yeah.
And do their videos for their blog. They all have effect. They all work.
Yeah.
And some of them are really good, some of them are really bad. And, you know, for the most part, it's some good quality stuff with these little small devices now. And
What are some of the other, I know you've got some tips here on
well,
the
some
back
of the
your
things
card.
that I try to help my clients with, first thing is don't wear a name tag. You know, it's nice, but it's a distraction. You know, the camera's coming right in and you see this big Don Piccini. You know, everybody knows who I am. You don't need a tag in your video. I mean, you're putting your lower thirds in, your name and everything else in there, they'll get it from that. It's just a simple thing. Make sure there's enough light, which is, we've been talking about a lot during this segment. And be aware of your backdrop. You've got a great backdrop here. It can blend with a bunch of different colors, and I've got black, you ladies have purple on, it works. And wear a wireless microphone. Sound is crucial.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're using the microphone that's in your laptop or on your phone, it just doesn't work sometimes. And the wireless are nice, but they also have wired ones, because you're only going to come up to about here on your video. You can hide it, and so you don't see it, and it still works to get better sound. Speak 20% slower than normal. Because a lot of people, when they do their video, it's blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, they've got so much
Challenge
content.
for me, for sure.
It all is, and you can tell when you're nervous, people talk fast. So slow it down, let people understand you, and relax and be yourself, and just do it. You know, the world is waiting to watch your video message. And they're simple things, and it'll make take your video from here to here. And
Yeah, take
you.
time to compose your picture, frame your picture. You know, stop and look at what you're going to shoot, and, you know, look at all four corners. A wise woman told me recently, you know, check all four corners before you actually take the picture. Draw us in, make us want to come look at the picture.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Those are great tips.
Hopefully
And-
they help.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to watch this so I can write them down. Because that'll help too. And I bet you've got some on your blog too.
I
some
actually
tips.
even wrote a blog with travel photography tips for, you know, people who are traveling on vacation, like what they should think about when they're doing that. And they can find all that on my website.
And you know, we all go on vacation. Okay, so go to her website, and you know, you'll see the address in a minute or so, and check out her blog. Go to Dom's website and check it out. I already did that. It's got some good stuff on there. And remember to check our website, because it's been almost 2 years that we've been having this show. We've got some really great shows, and they're all there and available for you to look at. Now, I like to end the show with a quote, and I'll do it very quickly because we're running out of time. Another photographer, Michelle Collars, said, "Sometimes you will never know the true value of a moment until it becomes a memory." So save it through photography, save it through videography, and video montages, okay? Thank you so much for being with us
Thank you
today.
so
It was a
much.
great show, and thank you for joining us. And remember, we're going to be back again with another great show. So join us then. Thank you.